Hello and welcome to Todd Talk, where insight meets inspiration. I'm your host, Todd Hiller, and I'm an author, speaker, and longtime community leader, here to guide you on a journey towards fulfillment and balance. In every episode, we'll explore ways to fill life's emptiness, helping you uncover practical tools to create harmony, purpose, and happiness. Whether it's thriving in your career, nurturing personal growth, or simply finding joy in the everyday, Todd Talk is your space for real conversations and actionable advice. So let's thrive together, personally, professionally, and beyond. This is Todd Talk, and I'm thrilled to have you here. Stop asking imaginary people for real permission. I had a different podcast episode in mind to record for today, but my daughter sat down this morning and she turned on the Bee Movie, and I sat to watch a few minutes with her. And the beginning of the movie, there's this little paragraph that comes across the screen, and the narrator reads it, and it really got me thinking. And so the narrator says something to the effect of, according to humans, a bee shouldn't be able to fly because its wings shouldn't be able to get its large body off the ground. But the bee flies anyway because it doesn't care what humans think is possible. And now, whether that's scientifically accurate or not is not the point. This is not a science episode. But the point is, how many things in our lives never get off the ground because we're too busy listening to what everyone else thinks? We do this a lot, I think. We say, well, people will think I'm too old, or they'll think I'm wasting money, or they'll think I'm selfish, or they'll laugh if I fail. And the giant question is, who are they? Who is this proverbial they that we've drummed up that we say, oh, they're going to think it's a bad idea? So all of the time, I think we live by these invisible rules. And sometimes, and maybe oftentimes, nobody actually told us that we couldn't. We just assumed. We assumed that we couldn't start a business because someone would say, oh, that's a bad idea, or you don't know enough about that, or you don't know what you're getting yourself into, or, oh, I started a business one time and it didn't go great because it's harder than you think. This happened with writing a book. When I first started writing a book, I had some people in my life say, you're going to write a book? Like, wow, good luck. And I was like, well, yeah, I'm going to, thanks for the wishes of good luck, but I am going to write a book. And I think there's a whole long list of things: applying for a promotion, going back to school, learning an instrument, traveling alone by yourself. I think this one, a lot of times people are like, oh my God, you're going to travel by yourself? Yeah. As a matter of fact, today, right around the time this episode releases, I'll probably be on my way home from going to see the show Sweeney Todd that a friend of mine that I acted with in high school is in, and I'm so excited to see it. But, I had a conversation about this, like I never thought of buying the ticket for myself, and I'm not sure why, but I just I don't think I would ever do that for myself until someone was like, well, why not? Just go ahead and go if you want to go. And I was like, mind blown, like, oh, I'd never thought of that. But I think sometimes we do that a lot. It's not just about buying things, traveling alone. I want to buy a kayak because I love the kayak. But I don't think I need to do that because, people are going to ask me, well, where are you going to use it, or how often are you going to use it? And that's a funny example to me because I own a kayak that I never actually get a chance to go out and use. And that's probably another example. Like, all the time I think to myself, well, I'll make time to do it a different time because I have other things to do. When in reality, I could just say, hey, today's the day I'm going to go kayaking, and just go do it. But, taking a vacation, wearing a shirt that you like, but we worry other people aren't going to like it, starting therapy, going to the gym, beginning a new workout plan or an eating plan. Oh, you're going to try that diet? Good luck. All these things we have run through our head. And sometimes nobody is stopping us. We think they are. We feel like they are. We have this thought in our mind that someone is going to say something, but we've never actually had that conversation in the first place. And I think sometimes we mistake opinions for limitations. We've simply given anonymous opinions authority over our lives. We think, and we have this thought process in our brain of what people might say when we start doing the thing. And when someone says, well, I don't think that'll work, our brain hears it can't work. And there's a really big difference, because how many people do you know that share different opinions than yourself? Probably a whole long list of them. Now, that doesn't make them wrong or you wrong, or them right and you right and them wrong. It just means that you have differing opinions. So when someone says, I don't think that will work, instead of letting your brain hear it can't work, say, okay, well, thanks for your opinion. You don't think it can work. I think it can work. Here's the reasons I think that it can work. And also, it's not your decision to make. It's mine. It's not your life. It's not your dream to pursue. It's mine. because I don't think it will work and it can't work are not the same sentence. People often project their own fears onto us a lot of times, right? If you hear somebody who is the first thing they can do is jump all over your idea with negativity and oh, that's never going to work, there's probably a pretty high likelihood that either they are scared to death to do it, or they tried to do it and failed, or they've always wanted to do it but are too afraid to. And I think, and this is just me making conjecture, that every person listening right now has at least one person in their life that they know that immediately turns to the negative, immediately turns to that won't work, you can't do that, that's a bad idea, oh my God, why would you ever? I think we all have that person. And as you listen, I want you to kind of think about in that aspect of that one person, maybe we have more than one person that's that negative, but how much joy have we postponed if we think about it? I know that when I was younger, I postponed a lot because I was worried about what other people might think. I told the story recently to a very good friend of mine about the first time I wanted to buy a snowmobile. I was like a 16-year-old kid, and a neighbor of mine who I knew from the fire department had a snowmobile for sale, and I'm like, oh my God, I want that thing so bad. Like my dad had one when I was younger. My grandfather had one that they used to take me for rides on, and I wanted one so badly. But in my brain, I was like, well, you can't just buy a snowmobile. Like, who are you to buy one? Now, I grew up working for my dad. I always had side jobs. Like I always had money that I earned myself. This wasn't like I was going to ask my parents for it. And so I finally... It took a long time, but I finally worked up the courage to ask my mom and dad, like, hey, I'd like to buy a snowmobile. Like, there's one down the road for sale. Dan has it for sale. Like, you know him. Like, it's not like it's some random stranger. And quick note, this is before Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist were a thing, obviously, because, you know, I'm that generation. So my dad was like, oh, awesome. Like, what kind is it? What year is it? What color is it? How many cc's in it? And my mom was like, oh, that sounds really cool, honey. Like, that'd be cool. And I'm like, I was blown away because all this time I had hyped myself up for them to be like, absolutely not. No way. Like, they're too much money. You can't afford that. Why would you spend your money on that? They're dangerous. Like, the whole long list in my brain was just about endless. And when I actually just asked them, they were both super cool with it. And not only cool, like, my dad was actually super excited because my dad had owned snowmobiles in years past when he was younger. And so it was this huge moment of realization of like, well, all that hype and all that worry and all that quote-unquote no that I heard in my brain was 1,000% made up by my own mind and my own subconscious and my own brain. It was never a conversation I had actually had with them. I hadn't asked and they said no, and I was worried about trying a second time. It was just stuff that I made up in my brain. And I think about this a lot, you know, how much joy have we postponed about hobbies, about, oh, I wanted to buy a fishing rod because I love to fish, but it's super expensive, and I don't think people would think it's a good idea, or my parents or my significant other will think it's a waste of money. Taking art lessons, joining a hiking club, planting a garden, learning photography. It doesn't matter what it is. Whatever it is on your list, remember, you are the one that is allowed to give yourself permission to do the things that you want to do and chase the ideas and the dreams and the goals that you want to do, not somebody else. It's not their life. It's your life. And yes, they can weigh in on it, especially if they're a close friend of yours. They can tell you what they're thinking. They can give you their opinion, but that doesn't mean that that's the gospel or that's the law. Listening to people criticize something they've never wanted isn't wisdom, because some people in our lives will have zero interest in the things we actually want to pursue or talk about, and that automatically gives them not a negative perspective right off the bat, but maybe more of an apathetic one. If they're not interested in the thing you're bringing up and you want to pursue, their reaction to it is likely going to be one that's pretty lackluster. And then I think the lackluster very easily blends into negativity. And then our brains go into overdrive and think, well, this can't work. This is never going to work. I shouldn't do this. Everybody thinks it's a bad idea. I can't do this. I'm not going to do it. And we just spiral from there. So I want to remind you to just stop borrowing someone else's priorities. Right? You have your own priorities. Make them up front and the things that matter most. And in a big way, well, and it's funny because yesterday was July 4th. In a lot of ways, freedom starts here with your mind and your ability to give yourself permission to do the things you want to do and feel free to make your own choices. Now, this isn't permission to be reckless. please don't think, oh, I listened to this podcast and that guy told me do whatever I wanted to do, so I blew my life savings on a speedboat, had never had a boat before, took it out and crashed it, and now I don't have a house or a boat, so I have to figure out a place to live. Like, please hear me when I say this is not the time to be reckless. That's not what this episode's about. It's permission to stop making every decision through the filter and the lens of everyone else's opinions or expectations. If it aligns with your values, and if it doesn't hurt anyone, and if it brings you joy, then why are you waiting for approval? And listen, I will tell you, this is a lesson that I still work on myself. This is still something that I am actively working on as a person. This is something that I have to go through and get through because I talked to my mom about this last night. She was joking around about how since I was a kid, she still buys me clothes because like I'll be the guy who's wearing work pants that have a hole in them and it's had the same hole in the knee or the side of the pocket for 3 years. And she's like, just buy a new pair. And I'm like, well, I don't really think I need to. Or sometimes like I don't even think like, hey, you can buy clothes. You know what size you wear. You can just go ahead and buy them. And so we were kind of joking about it yesterday at dinner when I was at her house. And it was funny in the moment, but it's so true. So please hear me when I tell you I still have to work on this. And I won't say I struggle with this, but I still have to work on this and actively think about it. And I do get reminders from people in my life that like, hey, it's okay to do things for yourself. I promise it's okay. But if you have that, like the little checklist I just mentioned, and all those things line up, right? It aligns with your values. It doesn't hurt anybody. It brings you joy. Then what are you waiting for? Here's my challenge. This month going forward, ask yourself, what would I do if I wasn't worried about what somebody else might think? And I have a program for high school students that I designed around this entire idea called No Box Big Enough. Like, listen, stop letting other people tell you what you should or shouldn't pursue in your life, or that what you should or shouldn't do for a job, or as you grow up, or go to college, or don't go to college. Because if you weren't worried about what someone else might think, then do that small version of that thing, or the big version. But if you want to start small, you can do the small version of that thing. Make a phone call you've been thinking about. Register for the class. Oh, my God, I've always wanted to take a class in art or photography. Then register for the class. Wear the outfit that you've had laid out in your closet for 3 or 4 weeks, and you're like, oh, I'm worried that people aren't going to like this, or they're going to think it's too much, or it's the wrong color, or it doesn't go well. Like, just wear it. Wear it. It's yours to wear. Write the first page of something if you're trying to write something. If you have a post in mind, or you've been working on a piece of literature or a letter or a white paper or even something as long as a book, hit publish if it's time. Give yourself permission to do all of those things in real time. And again, guys, please tell me, I'm with you on this with the struggle. So I understand where the struggle comes from and what it's like. When they say the struggle is real, I feel you all the way top to bottom, through and through. But it feels so good to do things for yourself and give yourself permission to do them without waiting for someone else's suggestion or someone else to weigh in on whether or not it's a good idea. Because quite frankly, if you say, I want to do this thing, I want to do X, and somebody else says, well, I don't want to do that. Okay, awesome, great. We're two different people. We have separate lives. And even if that person is someone that's in your life and close to you, a spouse, a significant other, a sibling, a parent, a best friend that you live with, a mother, a father, a family member, it's okay to have different interests than the people around you and the people you care about. You can still love someone, and you can still be close to someone, and you can still have a really meaningful friendship or relationship with someone, even if you're not exactly the same people and have exactly the same interest. If someone said to me tomorrow, would you like to go see a ballet? I would probably say no, thank you. Now, have I seen them before? Yes. I was a theater major in college. When I spent a semester in London, we saw all kinds of shows, ballets included. So I've been to them. Is it the top choice of something for me to go see? No. If someone in my life said, oh, my God, I love ballet, I really want to go, I would say, go, have a ball, like have a great time, hope it's fantastic, take pictures if you can, like live in the moment, like enjoy it, like right up front. And that also becomes a two-way street. So if you remind yourself also to not wait for someone else's permission, also remind yourself that as you go forward, sometimes I think we might give that quote-unquote opinion of something when someone brings it up without ever being asked. Sometimes someone might say, I'm thinking of this, and we have this immediate knee-jerk reaction to what it's going to be. And sometimes I know I can't help myself. I just kind of spit out a response, and I'm like, let me rephrase that. Let me back it up. It's not my decision to make. It's not my life. If that's something that's good for you, awesome. Go ahead and do it. Because it's difficult, I think, to not let our past experience weigh in on our opinions and our conversations with the people we care about, because we want to try to protect them. And not all people who are saying things to you about like trying the thing or doing this thing, if they have a negative opinion, remember, it's not always born of malice. Sometimes they're trying to protect you. If they've done something and they failed at it, or they did something and had a really bad experience, they may just be trying to caution you so you don't have to go through the same pain they went through, which is okay. It doesn't make them a bad person. It means they're trying to help you and be helpful in that moment. And that's a cool thing. That's a good thing to have in a friend or a loved one or a spouse. It's great that they're going to look out for you, but there's a balance and a give and take of, hey, this is what I think. And then when they say, well, this is what I think, you can say, thank you so much for your feedback. Take it into consideration. Think about what they've said, if they've given you valuable feedback, but don't let that become your truth. Don't let that become the bottom line. Yes, this is the end all be all answer of whether or not I'm going to do this. Take what they say into consideration, but don't make it going forward. Don't make it the ultimate decision in the end. The decision in the end is yours to do. If you want to do something or pursue something and someone says, hey, I tried that, it was pretty awful, I didn't like it, and you still want to do it, and you took what they said into consideration, if there's someone you care about and whose opinion you value, awesome, then go ahead and do it. Like I said, don't be reckless, but go ahead and do it, because don't give up on your dreams, don't give up on your joy, don't give up on something you think could be really, really great just because someone else had a bad experience along the way. Flukes happen. That person, they could have had a random bad experience, and even if they tried again, they would have a completely different experience, and it would be wonderful and great. And then at the end of the day, they would be like, wow, I shouldn't have let that first opinion of that one thing in my life be the end all and be all, because I tried it again and it was really great. Had they tried it a second time and had it been great, and then you asked them about it, their opinion and their words of wisdom to you would be completely different, because they would have a positive experience to pass along your way, not just a negative one. Now, I'm not an entomologist or a scientist, so I don't know whether bees are supposed to be able to fly based on the size of their wings and their body mass and the shape of their body. So, I don't know that. But I do know this. I do know that people spend far too much of their lives grounded because they're carrying expectations that were never theirs to carry. They were carrying these invisible opinions, sometimes that people have never even said out loud or never even told them. And we have invented in our brains, because we have such creative brains, and we've put them on ourselves, and we've set them on our shoulders, and we've let them weigh us down and keep us from flying, or keep us from walking or running or pursuing the thing, because we're always so worried about that big what if moment. And what if I fail, or what if it doesn't go well? That's one entire section of your brain, right? That's going to what if yourself almost to death sometimes. The other side of those same situations is, what will other people think? What if someone else says something? What if someone else doesn't think it's a good idea? When in reality, you can probably take both of those what ifs and just poof, turn them into fairy dust, like Matthew McConaughey says, and throw them out the window. Because how many times in your life, ask yourself this right now as you're listening, how many times in your life have you thought about something and worried about the decision you were going to make, and then when you actually made it, or actually asked the question, or actually did the thing, it worked out way better than you ever thought? I know in my life it has happened all the time. And one of the most beautiful phrases I've heard is, we always overthink the what if the worst case scenario. What happens if we overthink the best case scenario? We always think, well, what if the bad thing happens? What if the good thing happens? What if the great thing happens? What if the most amazing thing ever happens when we try this? Let yourself live with that possibility and in that realm of belief in yourself and your ability to do powerful things and pursue meaningful things and have a joyous and full and happy life. Don't let somebody else's invisible opinion rob you of something that 10 years from now you might say, this was the best decision I ever made. I have a friend of mine, and not a super close friend, but someone I knew, that he wanted to start his own business, and everybody was like, you're out of your mind. Like, you're not cut out for this. You're not smart enough. There's no way. And he didn't listen to them. I think, as a matter of fact, he used that for fuel to his fire to go ahead and work harder to become a successful business person. But now he owns a thriving business that is known for exceptional work, high quality work that people are literally on a waiting list to sign up for. And if he had listened to those other people, if he had let those invisible opinions of other people that I'm sure he thought of creep in, he wouldn't be where he is today. Not only would he not be a successful businessman who's able to provide for his family and build a really beautiful life for his significant other and his wife and his kids, but also think of all the customers that wouldn't have had that good of an experience because his business wouldn't have existed. There's so many things and so many ripple effects that will cast out into the water and ripple through yourself and your circle and your social circle and your family members when you start allowing yourself the permission to do the things that you want to do without worrying about the invisible opinions of other people that sometimes don't even exist, sometimes aren't even there, aren't even possible. They were never even spoken out loud, but somehow we let them creep in. And as we close, you guys, look, your dreams and your pursuits and the things you want to spend your time on and your money on and your effort on, they don't need unanimous approval. They need your first step. This is not like a boardroom of a board of directors where everybody has to vote and you need a majority rule to go out and pursue your dreams or do the things you want to do. You're not taking a vote in your life. You don't have to say, hey, there's 17 of us here. Everybody has to vote. I need at least 9 of you to vote yes. Otherwise, I'm not doing this thing I've always dreamed of. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't allow that mental picture to even form. And even more importantly than that, don't imagine the vote. Don't sit around thinking to yourself, well, I bet if there was 20 people in this room that 15 of them would tell me this is a dumb idea. And then, therefore, I'm not going to do it. Don't even imagine it. Don't even allow it to creep into your imagination. And if it does, do your best to push it out, to think of other positive things, to think of things you have succeeded at in the past, to think of stories like this episode, this podcast, my voice. Remind yourself in the future going forward, I don't need this to be perfect. I don't need to ask imaginary people for real permission. I just want to go fly like that bee that the people said aren't going to be able to fly. And as we close, my final thought and my what I want to leave you with as we wind down and end this episode is someone else's opinion is information. Please don't let it become instruction. Someone else might offer an opinion of something they have tried and they have said, hey, this is the information I have on that specific job or that specific career or starting a business or taking a class or anything on that long list that's in your head of all the things you have thought about doing or might want to pursue. Let them give you information. Do not let them give you instruction. You are governed by yourself. And yes, please remember, don't be reckless. You're also governed by lots of laws where we live. But when it comes to the things you want to do and the things you want to have to enrich your life and make your life enjoyable and so you feel joy every day and you can smile and have good memories and take great pictures and live in the moment and take the trip and go to the play and book the ticket and buy the outfit and all those different things, other people can offer you information on them, especially if they have a similar life experience. But please, 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 do not take that information as instruction. Let yourself enjoy the things you want to enjoy. Let yourself do the things you want to do. Do them cautiously if you need to. Be cautiously optimistic if you need to. Take the first step. Don't jump off the cliff and say this was a terrible thing and now I'm going to fall 500 feet down. If it's something you need to do small steps, little by little, that's perfectly okay too. But that distinction is really powerful. You can listen to advice. You can weigh it very carefully, and even after you've done that, you can still make your own decision. Not everyone's opinion and not every opinion deserves to become your direction. I could easily see how tough it is because I've said before, I struggle with this. I can easily see sometimes how easy it is to get trapped into the mindset of listening to other people and taking what they're saying as advice and instruction to just kind of start guiding you down the road of which way you're going to go and which way you're going to turn. Please do your best to avoid that. Let it be information. Don't let it be instruction. My friends, wherever you are in the world, I hope you're having a fantastic rest of your day. I hope you've enjoyed the message, and if this has resonated with you or you think there's someone else who might need to hear it, please go ahead and share it with them. As we move forward out of this 4th of July Independence Day weekend, I hope you had a great time and a great chance to celebrate with your family and your friends or your loved ones or your social circle, whoever it was, and have a really beautiful time and blessed time with them and enjoy the moments you were creating and the memories you were creating. Thank you very much for lending me your ears. I appreciate your time. Be so well. Take care. Thanks for tuning in to Todd Talk. If you've liked what you've heard, please go ahead and subscribe and follow along so you don't miss any updates or new episodes. Thanks very much and enjoy the rest of your day.